Welcome back. Desperate for dollars, New York Governor Kathy Hochul now begging wealthy residents to come back to the liberal state after telling Republicans to get out of town just 4 years ago. Watch this.
Just jump on a bus and head down to Florida where you belong, okay? Get out of town. Get out of town.
I need people who are high net worth to support the generous social programs that we want to have in our state. Right? Now, there are some patriotic millionaires who stepped up. Okay, cut me the checks. I mean, just if you want to be supportive, but maybe the first step should be go down to Palm Beach and see who you can bring back home, because our tax base has been eroded.
Wow, that'll be a hard sell for top earners as New York City Mayor Zoran Mamdani pushes a 9.5% property tax increase on residents to fill the city's more than $5 billion deficit hole. Joining me now is New York Congresswoman Elise Stefanik. Congresswoman, great to see you. Thank you so much for being here.
Great to be with you, Maria.
Well, the funny thing is everything's on tape, so we know what Kathy Hochul said initially, and now we know she's begging everybody to come back.
That's right. And the reason why people have left New York in such a historic number is highest taxes, highest insurance costs, highest health care costs, most regulatory burden for small businesses. So there has been a mass exodus. We've lost a congressional seat in redistricting as a result of this. So people are fleeing the failed policies of single-party Democrat socialist rule in New York. And Kathy Hochul owns that. It's why she's the worst governor in America. And now you have a mayor of New York City who is proposing even higher taxes that are only going to fuel people leaving New York. But it's really shocking to watch that clip, to hear her tell people to leave and begging them for them to come back.
It really is. Do you think if she wins this race, that she'll go back and just agree with Zoran Mamdani on everything? She's just telling us that she's against stuff, and then after the election, she just goes back to who we know she is?
Well, look at the precedent. She did this with congestion pricing. When she said she's not going to increase congestion pricing, as soon as the election was over, she went ahead and raised those, and that is a tax on commuters. It's a tax on workers. I fear, and my concern is she's going to do that on energy issues, where she is kicking the can down the road on this natural gas ban. She has every intention of implementing that after the election and every intention of raising taxes. Meanwhile, you look at states like Florida, where you continue to see businesses, population moving there because of the very friendly economic climate. So this is what single-party rule leads to. But I will tell you, one of the results that I've delivered is delivering the tax cuts, the largest tax cuts in history with President Trump, raising of that state and local tax deduction. That's the biggest tax cut. I was the tip of the spear in getting that done, negotiating with the President and Secretary of Treasury.
Which is why we all thought you would change things in New York, but you stepped out of the New York governor's race. Why?
I did. It was a difficult decision. We have a very slim majority in the Congress, a one vote, and that work is very important to run through the tape and get that done this year and complete my term. I also am a mom. I have a 4-year-old who is in pre-K 4. I'm teaching him to read, and I want to make sure that when you're running for a statewide office, it needs to be totally in all the way. And it is responsibility for me, both as a mother, but also as a member of Congress for my district. So I'm excited about the work I've been able to deliver. There's lots of opportunities ahead to not only save our state, but save America, because the stakes could not be higher.
Yeah, sure is. You're right. Another topic you've been monitoring and shown such leadership on, a new report shows anti-Semitic incidents have jumped globally by 34% in the first week of the Iran conflict. You were the leading voice on this, holding universities accountable for their inaction on anti-Semitism on campus after the attack on October 7th. Thank you so much for that. You have a book, Poisoned Ivies, the inside account of the academic and moral rot at America's elite universities. What is the situation like today?
It continues to skyrocket. This is it's a moral crisis across the country, but around the world. And we've seen that uptick since the start of the Iran war. But look at the state of New York, where you have a very large Jewish population. That has skyrocketed. And the book goes into depth on the hearing heard around the world. Many people saw that hearing with Harvard, Penn, MIT presidents, and then the Columbia president, who failed to address the pro-Hamas encampments and the anti-Semitism against Jewish students. The book goes into depth. It's a behind the scenes, and there are some blockbuster moments that have not been reported before. It comes out April 14th. But importantly, President Trump and Secretary Linda McMahon have taken significant action based upon that hearing, executive action, and we've passed legislation to address this.
By the way, how much influence do foreign countries have in our universities universities. I mean, they're big donors. Qatar is #1. China is #2. Do they have influence in how we govern our students?
It's a huge problem. It's something not only do I go into in the book, but I go into in education hearings. We pass legislatively what's called the Deterrent Act to make sure that there's more transparency. The Department of Education just released last year's numbers. Last year alone, Qatar gave over $1.2 billion to U.S. universities. And my concern is it shapes the curricula, it shapes the professors, the Middle Eastern Studies programs, where you have pro-Hamas professors. There was a blockbuster media report just this week of professors at universities in this country who are affiliated with the Iranian terrorist regime. That should not be happening. Wow. So we have to get at the root of this. We have to make sure that we're standing up for American values when it comes to educating our next generation of leaders.
Of course, that's really important. Elise Stefanik, thank you so much.
Thank you, Maria.
Great to see you. Elise Stefanik here.
Kathy Hochul told millionaires to jump on a bus to Florida 4 years ago. Now she's begging them to come back, and the tape proves it. Let's dive in. Let's talk about one of the most stunning reversals you'll see from a sitting governor. 4 years ago, Kathy Hochul had a message to wealthy New Yorkers who were fed up with the state's policies. Get out of town. Head to Florida. You won't be missed. That was the energy. That was the confidence. Now, she's on tape asking the same high net worth residents to come back home. Her words, she needs people who are high net worth to support the state's social programs. She's calling on so-called patriotic millionaires to step up and write the checks. The same governor who once told people where they belonged is now asking them to bring their money back to New York? Why the about face? Because the tax base eroded. People didn't just leave, they fled. Highest taxes in the nation, highest insurance costs, highest healthcare costs, a regulatory environment that small businesses simply can't survive in. The result wasn't an inconvenience, it was a mass exodus, so severe that New York lost an entire congressional seat in redistricting. And it's not getting better. While Hochul is out here pleading for millionaires to return, New York City's mayor is pushing a proposal for even higher property taxes, over 9%, to cover a multi-billion-dollar budget deficit. So the message to wealthy residents is contradictory at best. Come back, but also here's another tax hike waiting for you. Congresswoman Elise Stefanik didn't hold back on this. She called out the single-party rule in New York directly, pointing to the failed policies that created this mess in the first place. And she made the comparison that stings the most. Look at states like Florida, where people are still moving to, while New York struggles to keep the people it already has. The tape doesn't lie. The policies have consequences. And right now, New York is paying for them.